It's IDM here, and today I have a great review, and I'm going to be reviewing the Super Nintendo.
Oh yes, my friends. Oh yes, I have it in my hands. It's the Super Nintendo. As its name announces, it's super and more. Released in 1991, this console, which is not very good looking, packs a lot of power. And I don't know if you ever played one, but as you know, this console is just plain amazing, marking as #1 on my favorite consoles and being basically my favorite console of all time. The Super Nintendo has just been in my heart, and this introduced me to the world of gaming. I don't have an NES, and I can't recall memories about it because I never had one and I never played one until now. But this has been always with me, and I'm making a review about it, which I'm happy. So the NES was a great console. This came after on 16-bit graphics, which were amazing at the time. I remember playing this as a kid, and it was just wonderful seeing Mario, and it was like the 3D back then. So Now this console has two controller ports, one facing a different direction, which is pretty nice. I think it's pretty cool that you know which player has the controller which way. Anyway, and it has a power switch. Just turn it up to turn it on and down to turn it off. I bet you never want to do that though. Don't ever turn this off. Well, maybe if you want to go to sleep. And it has a reset button, which who the fuck uses the reset button? I mean, this thing never failed. The game will never crash, so all you have to do is turn it off and turn it on and play. That's it. I don't know who will use this. I mean, maybe if you're getting tired of playing the game and going ham with it. And it has a cart launcher, which is amazing. So all you do is take a cart. We have Super Mario World. Insert it in there, and just your cart just goes flying 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, it will work better if it was plugged in, but So, yeah, that's it. That's your cart launcher right there. That's what holds and reads the information to what part of space is going. So all you do is put it in there like this. Do a countdown and launch it. But I'm just playing. If you know what it is, then it's an eject button. You have to press it gently, not crazy like I'm doing. All you do is press it gently because the Super Nintendo loves you. It's a machine that was made for you. So you do press it gently and it takes out the cart like that. It's inviting you to play. All you do is insert the game like this. Look, it has a little door which covers dust, but you don't even have to ask it if it wants to play with you. All you do is insert the card and the door opens itself. That's how amazing the Super Nintendo is. I'm serious, man. This is like great. See? Look. Bam. It's great. It's like the PS3. All you do is insert a disc and, it's allowing you to play it. It's basically letting you in it. No homo. So all you do is insert the card and turn it on, and then you have what you see in the background, Super Mario World. Now I'm running that through an emulator, which is pretty mainstream, but I rather this all the time. Now on the back of the console we have your regular AC adapter. You have an AV multi-out, which is compatible with the GameCube and the N64 cable. And you have your amazing RF switch, which outputs 20,080p. Not available on YouTube now or in the future. So if you have one of these cables, feel lucky because you're gonna see it extremely HD with it. Like 16 graphics at its finest. You have a little vent right here, which, would be pretty useful on the Xbox since it overheats. But, I don't know. Maybe it only has one because this thing will never overheat on you. Let's put this aside. But people ask, how do you play this shit? Like, you have the Super Nintendo. Now what? It's letting you play. You don't have to ask it to play. But what you have to ask for is a controller. This is the Super Nintendo controller. Now mine is modded, of course. I have different color buttons, and this will be familiar to the Super Famicom controller, which is basically the Super Nintendo, but the Japanese and the European version of it. So this is the Super Famicom controller, as I want to call it. I just put color buttons on it, so don't think this is some kind of crazy magic trick or something. Now, this controller was very innovative at its time. It had one, two, three, and four extra buttons, making it, pretty amazing. I mean, people were amazed by this. You can actually control the character more, do more things, great for fighting games, RPGs, action buttons, and it was the first to have shoulder buttons. Like, you always had a controller flat, but now you can interact with this. No, Nintendo actually thought, they're not using these fingers for no shit, man. We have to use it for something. We have to do something with it. We have to let it, play like that. So they created the shoulder buttons, and now you're gonna see it on every single controller. It has its regular D-pad, A and B, X and Y buttons, start and select, left and right. You can carry this on the car. Take it with you. And whenever you're telling your parents or your grandparents, you're like getting lost, and then you're like left, right, they get all mad at you. You should just bring this, put it in there, and be like, look at it. Left, they're gonna look at the Super Nintendo controller and be like, oh, this way is left. And then right, so they wouldn't get mad at you. See, this console is just useful. But what about the games? I mean, it's useful for many things, but what about the games? As you can see, I already have one in here, and it was bundled with the console, which is basically Super Mario World. And it's playing on the background. That's what 16-bit graphics look like, if you do not know. And Mario right there is 8-bit, so you can tell there's a pretty big difference. So we're gonna eject it slowly, and this is your Super Mario World cartridge. Yes, the Super Nintendo works on cartridges, if you haven't noticed. It has the board down there. It matches the console perfectly, as well as the Famicom cartridges match the Super Famicom perfectly. And you can see, it's not a misleading image. What you see in here is what you get, especially with the RF cable. So let's take a look at another game. We have Super Mario All-Stars. It's a remake of the first, second, and third Mario on the NES into 16-bit graphics. Pretty great cartridge, a must-have. We have an RPG, which the Nintendo was amazing at, Chrono Trigger. If you haven't heard about this, slap yourself. I don't even have to say anything about this. One of my favorites and rare games that probably none of you have heard, Space Megaforce. It's a vertical shooting game, and it's extremely amazing. This game is rare as hell and kind of expensive, so if you find it, get it. Trust me, you're not gonna regret it. We have Star Fox. Now, these games push the console to its limits. They had what's called the Super FX chip. As I mentioned before, this thing was 16-bit graphics. You see 2D over there, not 3D. But the Super Nintendo was just great that it could make 3D games just with the help of a special chip. As you can see, it has two extra boards down here. All you did was plug it in like this, and bam! It naturally played 3D games. Now Star Fox is a 3D games using regular polygons, and it actually works and plays great. Another game using the Super FX chip was Super Mario RPG. It didn't use polygons like Star Fox, but it had some pretty cool 3D effects in it. And as you can see, it does have the chip. So that's it, guys, man. The Super Nintendo is just plain amazing. If you definitely looking to get one of these, don't hesitate, go ahead. I truly recommend it. My favorite console of all time. Amazing. Plays every single game you expect. Mortal Kombat, RPGs, action games, Contra, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart. It just goes on. So, yeah, guys. I don't even know what else to say about this. The console is just great.